They're just using the system to the story. They want to feel everything. They want to feel heartbreak and lust and all these different feelings. They want to feel all of it. So once you talked about how you build a frame where you don't need to ask for love and the girl's the one who do, but don't girls want men to take the initiative? The initiative on yourself. They don't know how to describe it. They're just using the societally approved terms. Because girls, what do? They take these societal concepts and just repurpose them and think they said something, right? But they often do a really bad job of explaining what they actually want. Sometimes, most of the time, they don't even know what they actually want, right? When I talk about initiative, it feels good to say these things, right? Because they're trying to avoid responsibility. But the key here, the initiative we're talking about, initiative on yourself to build something proactively. That's what it's about. It's just not. You have to place yourself somewhere on the spectrum, but you can't be at two places at the same time on the spectrum unless you're acting. And now, if you are acting, which one is the act, and which one is the proper, easier version of yourself to maintain? Because when we're talking about the one, right, or sorry, the being yourself, right, or whatever it is, the whole idea of being yourself is not acting. This is kind of how like the conventional person uses this terminology. Is it can be yourself, whatever that is. Okay, so it's the version of you that's not acting. So the non-acting version of you, what is that? Who is that? What does that look like, right? I'd argue there can't be multiple versions of this. Like obviously certain versions of yourself are easier to maintain than others. So that would mean arguably that's closer to what you actually are, probably, meaning everything else is an act. So if everything else is an act, then it's now not the real you. Isn't that the whole argument? I'd say we don't like it long term, especially when we see men becoming easy to manipulate because they try to meet all of our expectations. Well, yeah, because your expectations in reality are bottomless, right? And so the only way that's how you start to know you have power over him, right? They're supposed to act as the regulator. They rationalize it poorly and end up making wrong decisions based on it. And I'd argue it's an accurate instinct. It actually is accurate. The hard part is accepting that a lot of girls' instincts are correct. The problem is that a lot of the times how they rationalize their emotions is incorrect. This is my biggest issue. I've grown to learn this whole idea time and time again. A girl's instinct is correct a lot of times. Later, they rationalize it poorly and end up making wrong decisions based on a poorly rationalized instinct because it's the instinct is experienced through some level of emotions, right? And that can go on both sides of the coin. Can that be reversed? Very difficult because if a guy already got himself in that position, then what kind of crazy event has to occur for him to all of a sudden change up on his ideology? Because it is almost like a religion, right? It's an innate core belief. Now, is that truly deep down what they actually believe, or is that societal structure so powerful that they operate through that